Jake Paul fight. What is your reaction when you see it?
I don't really know where to go with this subject, because if I say something, I'm going to get backlash.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah, tell him this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up?
Floyd Mayweather has finally spoken out about the much-hyped potential showdown between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis, and, true to form, he didn't hold back. The undefeated boxing icon offered a sharp, calculated take that dismissed the spectacle surrounding Jake Paul while reaffirming Tank Davis as one of boxing's most dangerous and skilled fighters.
Chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into Chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in this sport. But people hold the Tommy Fury thing against me, but what now? I just beat a former world champion, and I'm coming to avenge that loss as well with Tommy.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
With his signature swagger, Mayweather made it clear, while Jake Paul has done an impressive job turning social media fame into big paydays, stepping into the ring with a killer like Gervonta Davis is an entirely different story. According to Floyd, the hype doesn't change the harsh realities of elite-level boxing.
Something I'm going to get backlash, because, you know, no matter what I say, it's not.
Okay. So you can't
It's
say
not right. But, well, basically, when you watching boxing for free, yeah, you can have millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of views. Yeah. But when you're watching Floyd Mayweather, you have to pay.
It's real.
So, I mean, I did pay-per-view numbers.
Mayweather has long been skeptical of Jake Paul's boxing career, repeatedly questioning his ability to hang with real professionals. In various interviews, he said Paul has yet to face a true boxer, and when he finally does, the outcome will not be in Jake's favor. Floyd has credited Paul for beating non-boxers, but emphasized that crossing over into the realm of seasoned fighters presents a far more serious challenge.
He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know where his mindset's at.
It get fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry. It's TMZ.
You can curse.
I apologize, but
no apologize.
There's no way he get demolished.
As soon as Jake Paul's name was linked with Gervonta Davis, reactions flooded in from across the boxing world. From top contenders to analysts, opinions varied. Some called it a joke, others saw it as an insult to the sport's integrity. Still, many acknowledged the financial upside of such a crossover bout. While purists criticized the idea, business-minded insiders recognized the marketing power and massive attention it could bring to boxing.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You can knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you are saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
Critics have been quick to blast the idea of Davis fighting Paul, calling it a mockery of Tank's legacy. A commenter on Essentially Sports said, Tank moving from 135 to 195 is pure insanity, and accused Paul of chasing a payday off Davis's name. Former world champion and commentator Paulie Malignaggi added fuel to the fire, suggesting Davis has avoided elite lightweight opponents and padded his record. Lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson was even more direct, calling the potential matchup disrespectful and a step backward for boxing, especially if it takes priority over a unification bout.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to cover this because there's no way they're really going to do it. Because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active, in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore.
Shakur Stevenson didn't mince words when discussing the possibility of Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, he expressed frustration, saying it would be a betrayal of the sport's values if Tank chose a crossover exhibition over a real championship battle. Man, Tank is disrespecting the sport if he fights Jake Paul instead of me, Shakur said. He argued that claiming to be the best means proving it against top contenders, not entertainers. For Stevenson, there's no room for shortcuts or sideshows in a sport built on merit.
Didn't say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fight?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he chooses that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on me, so if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Gervonta Davis's perception of Jake Paul has evolved significantly over time. Initially, Davis dismissed Paul as little more than a loud, attention-seeking sideshow, openly ridiculing the idea of him as a legitimate boxer. That skepticism lingered even as Paul began taking training seriously. However, as Paul continued to demonstrate commitment in the gym, Davis gradually began to acknowledge him as more than just a social media personality. By late 2023, Davis admitted that Paul showed notable physical and mental toughness, though he stopped short of calling him a top-tier boxer. Following his controversial draw with Lamont Roach, Davis even hinted privately that he might call out Paul, signaling a shift in mindset rooted in respect for Paul's discipline and drawing power, despite the clear weight and skill gaps between them.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like,
yeah, I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He's really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be in the box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Jake Paul's commanding win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. marked a turning point in how he is perceived within the boxing world. The Anaheim event broke the venue's all-time gate revenue record, surpassing even high-profile fights headlined by Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia. This commercial success, combined with Paul's improved in-ring performance, caught the attention of respected figures like Oscar de la Hoya, who stated that Paul could potentially compete for world titles. Even boxing legend Manny Pacquiao acknowledged Paul's unwavering dedication. Analysts also praised Paul's composure and technical control in the ring, reinforcing the idea that he's progressing as a serious contender.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel
honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself, so we're excited.
Jake Paul has officially declared that his next phase in boxing will focus on facing legitimate professional fighters. After defeating Andre August, Paul announced a shift away from MMA crossovers and celebrity matchups, stating that he is now committed to challenging real boxers across the division. In a CNN interview, he emphasized his intention to take on the toughest possible opponents, fights where he's the underdog and can prove his growth. Across his social media and public appearances, Paul has reiterated his goal, to leave behind the spectacle and build a credible boxing legacy.
So everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who's the most enticing to you?
No, like, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
9-year-old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And it's another win for Jake Paul. He was greeted with boos post-fight after winning his 6th straight fight, calling out anyone and everyone requesting multiple title shots in a possible rematch with Tommy Fury. Jake claims he's just getting warmed up. This was just his 13th professional boxing fight. Back here with Brian Campbell, Danny Vidlani. BC, what did you see? What are your takeaways from this latest bout from Jake Paul?
It kind of depends on what we're judging him. If we're judging Jake Paul as a future cruiserweight title challenger, I'd have to say he has a long way to go. But going 10 rounds against a former champion, even if that former champion is a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. who was 39 years old and really 13 years or so removed from credibility in the ring, at least Jake had to go 10 hard rounds, which was an improvement from some of the 8-round fights he's had earlier. And he had to fight off a somewhat stiff challenge late from a Chavez who pretty much took the first 4 rounds off completely of this fight and really took a long time to heat up and finally get going. I don't mean to be a hater here, but you do have to judge with some knowledge compared to the rest of boxing. It's one thing to be the best celebrity fighter in the world. It's another thing to legitimately climb the ladder and fight for a cruiserweight world title.
Logan Paul has remained a vocal supporter of his younger brother Jake throughout his boxing journey. He often praises Jake's discipline and ability to defy the odds, pointing to his impressive 11-1 record as evidence. Logan has highlighted Jake's willingness to face serious opponents, a trait he considers rare in boxing, especially for someone who entered the sport as a social media star. Despite the unconventional path, Logan believes Jake's accomplishments speak for themselves and reflect his resilience and commitment. His support underscores the growing respect Jake has earned in the boxing community.
My brother has an 11-1 boxing record. The one came from a guy by the name of Tommy Fury.
Yeah, watch that fight.
Jake, obviously, super hungry kid, wants to avenge that loss, but Tommy won't take the fight.
When I lost to Matt Serra, I was obsessed of revenge. So one of the sport psychologists, he made me take a brick and wrote the name Serra on it. So he made me carry a freaking brick in my training bag. Until that point, I couldn't take it anymore. He made me go to the Saint Laurent River and he made me throw the brick. When I did this, it kind of releases me. But my point is that it's awful and it must stink like fucking crazy. But you need to focus on the next task because that could be a big mistake.
Before any potential bout with Jake Paul can happen, Gervonta Davis is scheduled to face Lamont Roach Jr. in a much-anticipated rematch on August 2025 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. This follows their controversial majority draw in March 2025 at Barclays Center, where Davis retained his WBA lightweight title despite a disputed 9th-round sequence. The New York State Athletic Commission ruled in favor of keeping the bout as a draw, which stirred significant debate among fans and analysts. Both Davis and Roach have expressed their determination to settle the score, making the rematch one of the year's most important fights.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, you gonna go in there confident, thinking he can walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he hit you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you're going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that let's go fold. You're going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's going to get Lamont dropped. Because One thing I will say, well, Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much, you was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore, and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up. Because you gotta think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that like got to step back from the situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now. Because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this will be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning. Like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you're going to start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what we about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin is good. I think we just rocking with somebody else right now to give him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank will take it from Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this before. And Lamont, I see your mindset. You keep nagging about that win you should have got. Focus on the new fight. Stop talking about, I should have won. You know why he's feeling like that? Because that's like one in a lifetime. He feel like, oh, I got that close. I should have took the belt right there. Now I ain't gonna never get that shot again, because we know that boy Tank done buckled up and cleaned off his mess and he ready to go. And it's not the same Tank. You ain't Tank, you done gave Tank enough time to think about who you are as a boxer and break you down. Yeah, he's cooked. Remember I told y'all what's gonna happen in August. He's cooked. And I feel like Tank, he walking him down. Like, yeah, watch this. I'm about to make an example, because Tank gonna want to be able to tell everybody that.
Jake Paul has confirmed that if Gervonta Davis wins his rematch against Lamont Roach, the two camps will resume talks for a potential exhibition match. Despite the considerable weight difference, Paul fights at cruiserweight while Davis competes at lightweight. The planned bout would be a 10-round exhibition. Negotiations were nearly complete before the controversial draw between Davis and Roach delayed the plans. If both fighters emerge victorious in their respective upcoming matches, a highly anticipated exhibition could take place by the end of the year.
But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real, or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe this channel for more boxing updates.